Good morning. This training session is to go over NPR, which is new project requests, as well as PNR, which is the project number request. There's been a couple of people that have been a little bit confused between an NPR and a PNR. NPR, again, new project request, is how a design rep or someone like in finance can submit a request to create a new project within Unifier. So this should be anything like brand new wise for a project. Most projects that were in P6 should already be within Unifier. And then a project number request is the portion of a project request that gets the T number assigned, and that is reviewed by finance, and they go through the information provided by a project manager, and then they assign the T number from there. Again, new project requests, I typically approve them. However, I do not do anything with T numbers. I don't assign a project number. I want to make that very clear that any change to a project number or a project name has to go through finance. You need to contact finance. They make the change. I do not. Just want to also make that kind of cleared up. Before I dive too much further into the NPR and PNR processes, I just wanted to point out that we have an application coming out called WhatFix. WhatFix will be deployed. It's going to be in a little extension up in your browser. All Del.Dot employees will have DTI push those to their computers, and then external users will provide information on how they can download the extension. It'll be in this Del.Dot orange called Self-Help Here. When you click on here, it'll have a list of different support content in a sense. To start out for production, we will only have these 4. As time goes on, we will be adding in the other processes like PS&E, change orders, all kinds of different ones. But we're going to start out with e-ticketing, IDR, NPR for new project requests, and then the support request BP. Essentially, you'll click on one, for example, NPR, and it'll start highlighting while you are in Unifier. It'll highlight where you're supposed to click, and once you click, it'll take you to the next step, and then so on and so forth, and it'll physically walk you through a process while you're actually working within Unifier. So I just wanted to point that out. I think it's going to be a big game changer and helping users kind of with training supplements. Again, I've kind of sound like a broken record. Right here, when you click on this, there is a help URL here. This is a link to our YouTube channel. With deploying WhatFix, we're actually able to create training content. So it'll also create the PDFs and the videos. I'm hoping to keep the YouTube channel updated with all new videos. All these training sessions will be on there. And then if you go to the DRC, there will be PDF files as well as the links to the YouTube videos there as well. So I just want to stress to folks that Unifier is very permission access based. If you cannot access a project or can't access an example when we go over the NPR, if you can't access company logs, again, it's because you don't have the right permission or access. So, if it's something like, for example, the new project request, you have to be in a group called New Project Requester. This allows you to see the company logs. This was set up and designed this way because, again, Unifier is access permission based. So if you're not added on a project or added in the right group, you might not see a project, but that does not mean that it doesn't exist already within Unifier. So we didn't want people just randomly putting in an NPR and then come to find out, which I've had happen a few times already. The project actually already exists within Unifier. They just didn't have access to it. So that is just simple as, sending me a message to let me know like, hey, I need to be in the new project requester group so that I can submit an NPR. I hope to at some point send out the different groups and what their access is, so that when folks go to request access, we can have a better conversation where they understand what I'm talking about, and then vice versa. So here, for the NPR, you're gonna click company logs. This is the test environment, and I also have a ton of access. So I am going to see all kinds of things. I'm going to stress this because I've had people say, hey, I didn't see X, Y, and Z. You will only see the new project request when you click on company logs. You're not going to see everything I see here. It's going to look different. Again, I have all power and access within Unifier. Most users do not. So it should just be new project request. You'll click new project request. Here is the create button. Again, if you weren't to see that, it's just access based. You just need the right access or permissions. So you'll go ahead and click create. You'll type in your project name. So I'm just going to go ahead and give a test project because, again, I'm in test. The record number will be auto created. A project ID will be auto created. You have required fields, so you have to select what county it is. It's a drop down. Division, again, a drop down. Pipeline project. Just want to point out this little icon there was from the self-help. So it will kind of point out information. It'll also give you what's called a smart tip, and it'll be in a blue eye with a circle, and it gives you a little bit more information. So a pipeline project. For folks, most people aren't going to ever select yes on this. It's mostly for ants and gawk. So I tell people if you're not sure of something like this, it's probably because that isn't something pertaining to you. So in the NPR, most folks will not. If you don't know what this is, you won't fill this out. PSS, again, this is another one of those things that if you're not sure, just leave it defaulted as no. Folks like Mike Beala's group, they do the PSS side. Selecting yes takes it through a whole different kind of, in a sense, a workflow. So if you don't know what it is, you can just leave it as no. Again, child project, the same thing. Most of the time it's going to be a no. There is, anytime you see a question mark with a circle, we call these tooltips. If you hover over it, it gives you information regarding that topic. If you were to select yes, it would open up this field and it's required, and you would just put in the parent project, type in the T number, or select this icon here, and it'll give you a whole list of projects that you can, and then you can even go further as to click search and fine tune that information. So then we come down to these three fields here. Pipeline initiator is going to be uneditable. This is for if you select it is a pipeline, these fields will open up, these will go grayed out. Again, most people won't be using this. Again, there are tooltips that you can hover over this. I really wanted to stress this point because this is one of the biggest confusions when it comes to the NPR and PNR process. Design Rep 1 was intended to be the project manager. That was the intent and the reason behind having a Design Rep 1. Design Rep 2 was kind of like a secondary, and then this was intended in the workflow process to be an additional review step, which when I get into the project number request, I will show you that field. I have a lot of people who do it backwards. They put whoever's creating the new project request puts their name here, and then the actual project manager under Design Rep 2. The key, most important part of the NPR and PNR process, whoever is put in this field right here as Design Rep 1 is the person that the PNR project number request is assigned to. I get this question all the time. Whoever is supposed to get the PNR task, whoever's supposed to do the project number request should have their name here. Now, if you do it backwards, and I've had an area engineer where someone else puts in the NPR, but they put the actual PM under Design Rep 2, they just reach out to me. The design rep lets me know, or the project manager says, hey, this person filled out the NPR for this project, but I want to do the P&R. Can you reassign the task? Which I am able to go ahead and reassign a task. So I can always do that. However, I just want to stress to people that, really it's designed to be whoever's the project manager should be put in here, and whoever's doing the project number request. So kind of just wanted to stress that point, because I get that all the time. You can add in an attachment here if you wanted to do an attachment. You can type in comments. I have a lot of folks that give a lot of information here on the comment side. I tell people you can put whatever you want here. Just know that the only person that's really seeing this information on the NPR step is me. And you can request in here a T number. It doesn't matter to me. I will not alter the project number at all. I am going to show you my approval step and what I do, which will clear up the project ID confusion that folks have. But I just tell people, if you're putting stuff on the NPR, add them to the comment section of the project number request. That way finance can see it easily there. I tell folks, if you have a special T number or project name, you can add the comments on the P&R, the project number request, so that finance can see them. So then I just also wanted to point out, you can click save. When you save a record, it'll pop up into the, in this example, be on the home page under the drafts. I've had a couple of folks who have said, hey, I saved a record, it's not under my drafts. Unfortunately, I just want to let people know that if it's not under drafts, you did not save the record, and there is nothing I can do. Just no different than any other application. Unfortunately, you would just have to restart the record. So then I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to send this for review. It just takes a couple of seconds here for that to load. Here it's telling you that it was created successfully. You can always go and search the record number. It'll appear in this list. Here it tells you the status is in review. You can, on any workflow-based record, you can just highlight the record itself or double-click open it, but you'll click workflow progress. Again, this is test. You're going to see a ton of names here. The only person's name in production you'll see should be mine. But here it'll say whoever it is, if this is you, you completed it, you submitted it for review. And then it says not started here. Not started means that I did not accept the task. You can also click view graphic. A lot of people don't know this, and it'll highlight where it is within the workflow. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to accept the task. With any record, you always have to, when it's in your court, you have to click accept. And I just want to show you how that changes this. Now you can see it's in progress. So if you're ever in here and you're like, hey, if it's not started, that means that I have not accepted the task. I haven't really looked at or taken on your task. If you see it's in progress, that means I've accepted it and I am working on the record. So you can see that. So this is my portion. I've just kind of been going over just so that folks can get an understanding of how the whole NPR works. So I copy the project ID. This is what I put as the project number. It is just standard. Again, you are more than welcome to put a T number in here. I will not copy that and put that in here. The only thing I do is copy this project ID. I had made a change to a T number, or I think it might have been a project name. One time, it was a project name. I had made a change because a project manager asked me to, and I was told by finance that was a no. That is all done by finance. They are to make any adjustments to the project name and do the project number assigning. So yes, once you go to the project number request portion, this will end up changing. But this is what you'll search your project for. And I'll show you how to search a project. Pretty much, I don't touch anything in here. I just make sure you have a design rep, which is required. Sometimes I'll see if you have a design rep 2. And then I just kind of come in here, make sure it's active. Again, you guys don't have to really worry about any of this part. I just wanted to really point out that project number and project ID. Again, there's your record number auto-filled. And then I kind of just go in here and select my shell templates, which sets the project up with all the right BPs. Anytime I say a BP, that is a business process. So that's your NPR, PNR, PS&E, IDRs, change orders. Those are all what we call business processes. I go ahead and approve it. It's very rare that I ever send it back to the PM. Typically, I approve them. Once it's approved, you should get a notification or email, so to speak. Here, it's telling you that I've approved it. My status is completed. So from there, I take that project number. I'll go ahead and this little plus icon here is how you search for a project. So you can search it by the T number, by the name. You can always click on this icon here. This opens up every project that you have access to. Again, this is 1 test, and 2, I have all power access to Unifier. So I've got like 27 pages worth of projects. Some folks do have a ton because they, for their position, they have to be able to view all projects. But again, you'll search that project number for now. You'll come here. Again, the project number request, it will be under either your tasks, and it'll be here. Again, if you're going to do a PNR and you go under task and there's no PNR in there, well, that means that you didn't put yourself as the design rep 1. Therefore, whoever you put in that record as design rep 1 is the one that the project number request is task 2. I get that question so often. You can also go under general, and here is the project number request, and you can see the record here as well. So again, either under general, project number request, or under your task. You'll go ahead and you'll double click the record to open it. You'll click on accept. From here, you'll fill out the information that are required fields. There's tooltips. Here's that additional review required. So if you had put in the design rep 2, if I were to select this to yes, when I send this on, it'll go to that person to review the PNR. I don't think many folks are using that option, but I just wanted to point it out that it is there. So you'll type in no if you don't want that additional review. Project codes reference. This is a required field. It's only one option. This is to reference the project codes. So this whole project code section, you have to fill this out in order for it to pull into the project information for project codes in that record. So I've had a couple people ask, like they just didn't understand. This is just a reference code that pulls this from the PNR to the project codes record itself. Again, you have your child project, parent project. Every required field was decided by finance. So you'll go through, again, this is all for tests, so I'm just going to randomly select things. You can put a construction district. Again, there's tooltips, the del.type, type, accelerated project technique. Again, there's a tooltip if you're ever curious. And I tell folks, if you're ever unsure of an item within the PNR, reach out to finance. Finance is the one that reviews this project number request. They're the ones that are going to tell you and have the best answer for you, and will be the best point of contact. So make sure that you are reaching out to finance if you have any questions about the content within the record itself. Again, if you ever do PS&E, Robert Kovacs is like the person you go to if you want to know or ask something about the PS&E process. So you'll go through, fill out if it's open-end, that's a required field. Again, all these tooltips to help you. You have to put in a required field here. I can can spell my own name right. So you have to fill out the funding point of contact as well. Family indicator is a required field. You can click on this item right here, or this icon. You can scroll through, you can click search if you have a specific one you want to search for. The CTP classification works the exact same way. You'll go ahead and you'll select one, improvement type, whether you want to show on the CTP or not. If it's FHWA participation, full, assumed, to be determined, none, just select. Then you have the gas B34, that's a required field. Now we're going into project notes. Again, this is another required reference code. It's just to pull this information into the project notes record. Again, I will show you how to update all that information. So you'll go ahead, you'll fill out, there are tooltips of what finance requires or wants to see in here. And if you ever have any questions, again, reach out to finance. You have a project status update if you want to enter information there. You are more than welcome to add any attachments if you want to add an attachment. Again, here's where I tell people to click comments if you want to request a specific T number or any information that you want finance to know. Here is your project estimates. You'll click here on create. You'll select your estimate phase. You'll put in the planned cost. Here is finances portion, so you don't have to worry about anything there. It automatically will reference the P&R. So you'll go ahead and click submit. It tells you it was created successfully. You can only add in one audit estimate. So I just want to show you that it won't let you duplicate. It tells you there's already one there. I have people and they're like, well, what if I want to update the project estimate total later on? And I will show you in this training session as well how to do that. So here I have 2 estimate phases. Unifier will not allow you to send the record under the project estimates detail. Anytime I talk about a detail page or tab, that is here. So that's, this is the main form, and then these are your details. So you have to go back to the project number request main form. And before you even click on send, make sure that you go into MeApp and draw in your locations. Please make sure you do that. If you don't have the ability to edit or do anything in MeApp, just reach out to me and I will give you access. And I just want to show folks because a lot of folks don't know. So I just wanted to kind of, just so people can kind of see some of the items that I do. So give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and search my name. So basically I'll come into the user list. I'll open up your account and there's this little button right here called MeApp Edit Rights. All it is me just checking that little box. Once I check that box, the PM can go in and edit or draw, map out the locations within MeApp. This is the only thing that I do in regards to MeApp. So I've had a couple people ask for like troubleshooting issues. I don't do anything else besides click on that checkbox right there. And that little checkbox gives you that access. So I just kind of wanted to point that out to people and show you. So now I have to, give me 1 second, I have to reassign. This is typically what I do and come in when I have to reassign a task. When a design rep 1 isn't filled out with the right person, or that person created the NPR and they wanted the other actual PM to do it. So I just go ahead, I click reassign. Now that task is now to me. And in this portion here, this is where finance kind of does their final review. Again, you can always go to workflow and see that, okay, it was initiated, I completed the initiation, and now it's in finance review, in progress, they accepted the task and are working on it. Finance will go through this information and they'll either approve it or send it back for revision. So I just wanted to quickly approve that so that I can show you project information. So under general, again, you have your project number request that's been approved, so you can always go and see the information here. The information is always here. When you update the project information, it'll update the information here. So project information is where your project codes, estimate notes, schedule, and website are. So you'll come in here. There should be a record. If you're ever, and I've had it happen for project schedule, sometimes project estimate, if there's no record here and a project number request has been submitted, or maybe it was never created and it was done way back in P6 and that information didn't transfer over, all you have to do is shoot me an email, or actually preferably come under support, hit support requests, and actually create a ticket within Unifier on that project, letting me know, hey, I need you to create me this record. It's not there. I simply go into that project, and I'll go under, the project estimate, click create, submit the record, and then you can edit the information. So you'll go ahead and open the record. This has been another confusion piece. Questions I have actually gotten quite a bit. Folks open up project codes and they're like, I can't enter any information within this record. And first couple of times, it took me a little while to kind of troubleshoot. I'm like, I don't understand. Can see this perfectly fine. There is an edit button right up here in the upper right hand corner. You have to click edit to be able to edit the information within this record. I'm not sure, maybe in my previous trainings I didn't highlight this point enough, but you have to click edit within all of these to edit the information. So you'll click edit. Now everything is opened up and I can enter, adjust any information I need. I ask people, if you make changes for record purposes, type in the comment what you changed. I think that's just a great way to kind of keep record of what has been changed. There's always, if anybody has a question, they can say, oh, well, this person did this on this date. Another big confusion that we've run into is the submit and save button within these. So the submit and save work a little bit differently here. Save under here will not save this under your drafts. This is a non-workflow BP, therefore it's not going to save it to your draft. When you click save, it does what I call leaving it in edit mode. So when I open this back up, it'll save your changes and you'll see it, but it keeps the submit and save button here. So what you're basically doing is you're saving the changes so everyone can see it, but you're leaving the record in what we call edit mode. So I tell people, when you're satisfied with what you have changed, click submit. Once you click submit and I go back and I open this, now it's grayed out, the changes are there, and now it's out of edit mode. So to go back into edit mode, you would have to click that edit button. So I just tell folks to please, when you're fully done and satisfied with your changes, click submit. Again, they both save your changes, but one takes you out of edit mode and one leaves you in edit mode. Project estimates works the same way. You cannot duplicate a record. You have to double click on your estimate. Again, click on edit. When you click on edit, you enter, change the information, and I tell folks, especially with the planned costs and stuff, I tell people, add a comment that I made a change from this to this, whatever language you want to put in there, making a note of what you increased it by. If there's an attachment, make the attachment. I just think it's really nice to keep record of that. Maybe not everybody for the audit or record purposes want to, but I just tell folks, you know, because you can see who's been in. There's an audit log. So I just tell people to mark what you've changed. Again, when you're satisfied, you'll click submit. You can, again, let me know if there's not a create button, and I'll just create the record and then I submit it. So it's here, blank, and a PM can go in, they can click edit, and then edit in their information that they want. Again, making up, you know, costs and stuff. Notes, here's your project notes. Again, you can click edit and enter the edit any information here. Project schedule, click open, click edit. You can update all the information. Make sure you're updating the actual PS&E submittal date. I have a lot of folks not doing that. Please make sure you're keeping up to date with all of the dates for everything. And then project website. Again, works the same way. Click edit. Want to just point out external website, workshop survey link, the YouTube video, and I think there was one more in here. Those are what go on the project website portal. Please make sure, if you know this information, you're filling it out. Documents, upload that instantly as well. But there's been just slight confusion. I don't know why we have all this information in here if it's not going to be automatically put on there. But just to clear up some clarify, these items here go on that project portal website. I just want PMs to be aware because there's been some confusion. And then anything else issue-wise with the project portal, I have nothing that is out of my domain. I don't do anything with that. All I can tell you is just to make sure that you have the 3 items in the record here filled out, and you attach your documents, and that is all that's coming from Unifier currently. So any other issues is, again, out of my domain. I don't do anything else with that. So that's the project information and project number request. Again, if you ever have any questions, you are more than welcome to reach out to me. You can also submit under your project an actual support request within Unifier. Again, this is test, so I don't have the access, but you would have a create button. When you click create, I tell folks to just provide as much detail as possible, fill out as detailed as you can be, and you can submit it that way. The support requests are managed by the Unifier JMT team, Craig Blowers, and myself. And you can always check the progress of your ticket as well. And then I just also wanted to point out that if you don't ever have access, which again, it's all access based. Unifier, I can't stress enough, is permission access based. If you can't do something, you do not have the right permissions. I just tell people, you know, if you're not the project manager, but you're someone that has to update this information, you can let me know. It's called a project info editor group, just so folks are aware, and that gives you the access to update the codes, notes, estimates, and items of that nature. So if you, again, any questions, please let me know. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Bye.